He never shoot during the 4 years that he was here in Korea.
Not a single time?
Not a single time he used his gun.
What an awesome story.
I was invited for one day to the UN Sending States Descendants exchange camp. 160 young descendants of Korean War veterans from Korea and around the world came together to honor the veterans. Organized by Korea's Ministry of Patriots and Veterans Affairs. I'm thankful they let me join, because I learned that veterans didn't just fight for freedom and democracy. They helped connect Korea with the rest of the world.
With the Four Seasons Hotel, guys. Behind me, 160 people gathered to go on a field trip. Many of them are descendants of Korean War veterans, and they asked me to join. I'm excited.
The first stop is the War Memorial of Korea in Seoul.
One of my favorite museums, the War Memorial.
As I talked to the descendants, I realized each of them carries their own touching story about their grandparents in the war.
He enlisted into the army when he was 14 years old. He lied about his age.
No way, 14 years old?
Yes, and then he eventually got found out he got kicked out. So then he applied multiple times, he failed. And then he re-enlisted at 52, and then he served until 56.
Is he still alive?
No, he died when he was 30.
30?
Yeah, 30.
That's too young, man.
Motorcycle incident.
You survive a war and then you die in a motorcycle accident. Shit.
Ironic.
At every location, the descendants have to complete small missions.
The mission for today is first like this, right? We need to upload it on Instagram, and then if we do the missions at the end, we will get points, and the person with the highest point gets prize.
So Adam next to me from the States.
Hello, yes.
He's a Korean War veteran descendant.
That's right.
But he hasn't been to the War Memorial and he hasn't been to the DMZ. So for people like you, they organize a program like this, right?
Yeah, it's great.
But it's because of your granddad you came to Korea?
Yes.
Did you talk a lot about the war?
He was actually pretty quiet about it. He was a radio and radar technician.
All right, all right.
So he wasn't really on the battlefield per se. He was actually stationed in Fukuoka, Japan.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he hasn't been physically in Korea.
Supposedly he came to Korea on a secret mission one time.
How do you feel that the Koreans, they appreciate all the descendants even, right? They show a lot of appreciation.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
How does it feel that for you to receive all of that?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Talk about the Korean chong, right?
Yeah.
You can really feel it, and just the sort of patriotism of the country. And when I tell people that, they definitely brighten up a bit.
Yeah.
Get a different reaction than just the normal American tourist.
So guys, if you want to learn anything about conflicts in Korea, then the War Memorial is the place to be. And not only the Korean War, by the way, all the wars.
Back at the Four Seasons Hotel, we had a quick lunch to recharge before the next schedule.
Alright guys, it's still morning. We just came back from the War Memorial and we had lunch here at the Four Seasons Hotel, which by the way was fantastic. But now it's time to go to the DMZ.
The DMZ, or Demilitarized Zone, is always a fascinating place to visit, especially if your grandfather fought in the war. This is where you can really feel the reality between both countries and what could have happened if it weren't for the veterans.
This is actually the most heavily guarded places on Earth.
It's also here where I met a descendant from Colombia with a wonderful story.
The Santiago from Colombia?
Yeah, from Colombia. My grandfather was a sergeant in the Korean War. He was in the doctor service. He won an honor medal. He was doctor because he didn't believe in firearms against other people. But he wanted to support in another way. That's why he became a doctor. And he came here to Korea when he was 32 years old.
My age.
Your age?
Yeah.
He was here for 4 years during a fight. There were no more militaries. So they sent my grandpa to the front line. They gave him a gun and told us to pass from trench to trench. So they have to shoot, move, shoot, move, shoot, move. And my grandpa, in a moment, he hears something behind. So when his group moved from trench, my grandpa go back one trench. And when he go back one trench, he find 4 North Korean soldiers behind him because they wanted to ambush them.
Oh, really?
And in a moment, without using his gun, while shooting, he disarmed the 4 North Koreans and was one of the first prisoners of war in the Korean War. So that's why the United Nations took my father to New York to give him the honor medal.
Wow, that's mad respect. Crazy.
Yeah, and he never shoot during the 4 years that he was here in Korea.
Not a single time.
Not a single time he used his gun.
What an awesome story. So guys, you can hear the propaganda speakers that are aimed at North Korea, and now they're playing the theme song of Game of Thrones. I don't think the mic will pick it up. It's like loud, but not that loud, so I wonder if the North Koreans can hear it.
On the left side of the river, there's a small concrete structure on top of the hill. That is the North Korean gun post. Right side of the Kaesong Industrial Complex, there is a Kaesong City. This is one of 3 major cities in North Korea with a population of about 330,000.
Is it your first time in Korea?
Yeah, my first
It's
time.
your first time? Oh, no way.
No, it's my first time outside the American continent.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never visited Europe, Africa, or Asia until today.
Okay, so how do you like Korea?
I'm an ecologist, so I'm looking around a lot of trees, and I like that of Korea. Like it's a big city. Seoul is a big city, but it also have like a forest, like trees. It's a green city also. Like I'm very grateful about that. I love the birds.
Nice. Man,
Ornithologist.
I wish you could walk around here. There's so many birds in the DMZ area.
In moments ago, I saw a rapaz.
Rapaz?
Rapaz, yeah. That I love about nature. That for them there is no frontier. For example, the frontier with the USA and Mexico, that with the wild. In the moment, some animals have a frontier. For example, here, by the map, or we can see. These frontiers are human frontiers. We should leave like the human problems to the humans. Like, we don't have to escalate them to all living things. For example, in Colombia we have like guerrilla war since 60 years ago. There are places that have control of guerrillas and are a lot of forests. In 2016, when the President Santos and the FARC guerrilla, they signed the peace treatment, and after the peace segment, the deforestation started. During the war, it can preserve.
Right.
But when the war ends, we need to think about the nature. Like Korean dream of unification happens. That should be one perspective. Like there's forest. In the forest, there is a lot of life. If the Koreans unify too, they have to think about that too.
Yeah.
Like not put a lot of buildings here.
Roads, apartment buildings.
They have like to do it in a ecological way too. The two Koreas are divided in a political way, but there is no two Koreas in the nature. The nature is still like one Korea.
So it's kind of weird to be at the Dora Observatory, guys, because you look into Kaesong, and that's where I was 6 years ago. You can look into Kaesong, but to get there you have to go to China, take a train or a plane to Pyongyang, and then take a car. So altogether, over one full day to get to Kaesong, and here it's just on the other side of the border.
Next up is the third infiltration tunnel, dug by North Korea. It's 1,635 meters long, 73 meters deep, and was meant to, obviously, infiltrate the south. Luckily, it was discovered, and now tourists can visit.
But I'm not allowed to bring anything inside, so I won't be able to take a video inside. 아니요, 안 괜찮아요. So guys, if you're over 190 or like me 197, I don't recommend you going to the third tunnel. I think I ruined my back for the coming 40-50 years of my life. It's like so worth it because the story is like interesting, and we see how the North Koreans dug this tunnel and how deep it is, and yeah, it is interesting, but you're not allowed to bring your phone or camera, and most of the times you're like walking like fucking golem. If you're small, it's okay, you can just walk straight up. So I have to catch my breath because it's also quite deep and quite far.
The last stop was at the Korean Memorial Festa, where all participants could enjoy Korean food, Korean music, and a uniform runway show. Each country had its own uniform design, represented by one of our descendants, including Santiago from Colombia, who proudly represents his grandfather, who never fired his rifle during 4 years in Korea. And there was even a Dutch descendant I hadn't met before.
Ik heb ze gevonden hoor. Ja, jouw opa was een veteraan?
Ja, klopt.
Oké.
Ja, hij zat bij de marine van 1953 tot 1954. Hij leeft nog wel, maar hij heeft nu heel erg dementie. Dus helaas kon ik voordat ik hier ging niet echt meer dingen vragen.
Jammer.
Hij heeft niet echt door dat ik hier nu ben, dus dat is wel echt jammer.
Heb je altijd al iets met Korea gehad of is het een beetje door je opa gekomen? Of helemaal niet? Of ben je gewoon één keer uitgenodigd?
Heel eerlijk kwam dit gewoon op mijn pad en sindsdien ben ik er wel echt naar geïnteresseerd. Maar hier, ik weet dus ook bijna niks van Korea, dus alles is nieuw voor mij.
Ik denk als jij zo wat foto's aan je opa laat zien, dat hij misschien wat gaat opleveren, toch?
Ja.
Dus daar kijk je wel naar uit.
Ja.
Nou, geniet ervan zou ik zeggen. That was the day with the descendants of the Korean War veterans. A meaningful day. It was really fun to spend some time with them. There were simply too many people. I wish I could talk to more, dive a little deeper into their personal stories and what they heard from their grandfathers, because it's crazy that we soon depend only on the stories of descendants, right? And not directly from the veterans anymore. Anyway, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Houdoe.
Everybody please subscribe and then like for more content for iGoBart.